We've all heard that love can cross all boundaries. This dog, named Lou, raised 3 tiger cubs abandoned by their mother. Onlookers became amazed at the bond that unfolded between the cubs and the dog. Unfortunately, the moment arrived when they had to be separated because the tiger cubs grew larger. However, 2 years later, something happened that no one could have ever imagined. Xiling, also known as Jim, was a highly regarded animal advocate. With extensive studies in the field and a deep commitment to protecting all creatures, he dedicated his efforts to safeguarding animals in any way possible. When he secured a permanent consulting position at the local zoo, he recognized it as an opportunity to make an even greater impact. Jim wholeheartedly embraced his role, providing expert guidance on the appropriate care, treatment, and social needs of the zoo's diverse animals. Beyond his professional responsibilities, Jim remained actively involved in animal rescue initiatives outside of work. During one of his daily commutes to the zoo, he unexpectedly came across a heart-wrenching situation. A precious Labrador puppy had been abandoned, left vulnerable and alone on the street. Jim scooped up the helpless pup without hesitation, determined to give her the love and care she deserved. Fondly naming her Lau, he decided to make her a part of his family. As a result, Lou had the unique opportunity to grow up within the vibrant atmosphere of the zoo, right alongside Jim. She quickly became a beloved canine among the zoo staff, winning their hearts effortlessly. Lou relished her daily routine of accompanying Jim to work. With great enthusiasm, she embarked on her rounds, dutifully checking on all the resident animals alongside her human companion. While she couldn't physically interact with them inside their enclosures, she would greet them with a wagging tail and a friendly gaze through the glass barriers. Throughout the day, she eagerly lent a helping paw to the zoo staff, assisting in various ways. Sometimes she would carry goods or simply offer a calming presence to other needy animals. Jim cherished Lou's presence and found immense joy in her company. Their bond brought them both immeasurable happiness and a sense of gratitude for the unique companionship they shared in their zoo adventures. Jim actively participated in various organizations dedicated to rescuing and protecting wild animals. Whenever he had spare time, these organizations would contact him for assistance in capturing distressed creatures or seeking his expertise on the next steps for rescued animals. 3 years after Jim had rescued Lou, he received an urgent call from a countryside agency that left him deeply concerned. They informed him about 3 abandoned tiger cubs left without their mother. The gravity of the situation struck Jim profoundly, as such calls were rare, usually involving injured birds or smaller urban animals. The fact that these helpless cubs had been deserted hinted at a tragic fate for their mother. Understanding the urgency, the organization stressed the desperate need for a suitable place to shelter the cubs, but their efforts thus far had been in vain. Jim, without hesitation, offered his zoo as a haven for the young felines. Grateful for his swift response, the organization eagerly accepted his offer, knowing that the cubs would find solace and care under Jim's watchful eye. Considering the tiger cubs' need for round-the-clock care and nurturing, it became evident that they required an environment capable of providing adequate protection. However, Jim couldn't help but wonder how Lou would react to the presence of these larger felines. As the cubs arrived at the zoo the following day, Jim and the staff gathered around them with anticipation. The sight of the cubs was mesmerizing. Their fluffy coats indicated their youthfulness. They were immediately taken to the zoo's hospital section for a thorough examination. To Jim's surprise, Lou seemed unusually captivated by the cubs. It was as if some primal instinct had been awakened within her. She was utterly fixated on the newcomers and made every attempt to draw closer to them. Once the cubs received their checkups and necessary medication, the veterinarian suggested allowing Lou to interact and observe their interactions. Little did anyone know what would unfold next. To everyone's astonishment, the Labrador immediately embraced the tiger cubs as if they were her offspring. With tender licks and a protective demeanor, she gathered them close to her belly, ensuring they were warm and safe. It was evident that she perceived them as her babies, and miraculously, the cubs accepted her as their mother. This extraordinary bond left the veterinarian and Jim in awe, realizing the rarity of such a phenomenon. human intervention could never replicate the profound connection that had formed between Lou and the cubs. Recognizing the immense benefit this could bring the cubs' well-being, they let Lou explore her natural maternal instincts. During the nights when Jim would return home, he entrusted Lou and the cubs to the care of the hospital wing. Lou approached her role with utmost dedication, taking her mothering responsibility seriously. For nearly 3 months, she fulfilled the duties of a nurturing mother, grooming the cubs, aiding their feeding, and correcting their behavior when necessary. Observing the changes in the cubs as they blossomed was a truly captivating experience. No longer timid, they grew into confident and energetic young cats under Lou's loving care. The zoo staff did their best to prolong the time the tiger cubs and Lou spent together as an unconventional family. However, the moment arrived when they had to be separated. The cubs needed to socialize with other large cats, while Lou required protection from their powerful claws and teeth. Initially, Lou appeared saddened by the separation, but she found solace in knowing that her beloved cubs were growing and thriving in their way. Although there were no plans to reunite them, fate had a different plan in store. Remarkably, an extraordinary event unfolded 2 years after Lou and the cubs had separated. It occurred in the heart of summer, during the region's stormy season. The zoo had weathered its fair share of storms in the past, but none compared to the magnitude of the massive typhoon that swept in one fateful day. Within the zoo, Jim and his colleagues swiftly sprang into action, prioritizing the security and safety of the animals. Unfortunately, amidst the chaos, they inadvertently overlooked Lou, unaware of the storm's profound impact on her. Lou had an intense aversion to storms, and this particular tempest affected her greatly. Overwhelmed with fear, she could only comprehend the urgent need to seek shelter from the relentless rain and howling wind. In her panicked state, she inadvertently ran over a wall and tumbled into a fenced area she had long forgotten about. This was the enclosure of the adult tigers. Just after Lou entered the tiger enclosure, Jim saw the encounter happening from afar. When he finally arrived through the storm, he was ready to intervene but came to an abrupt halt when something remarkable happened. Gradually, the majestic tigers revealed themselves one by one, a total of 6 in their formidable presence, their gazes fixed upon Lou, viewing her as a potential threat. However, in an unexpected turn of events, movement caught Lou's attention beyond the initial 6 tigers fixated on her. 3 more tigers appeared before her in a flash of stripes, positioned between Lou and the original 6. To Jim's astonishment, the additional 3 tigers were not facing her, but rather their fellow peers. It was as if they had formed a protective barrier around her. She became visibly less frightened when she realized that they were the 3 cubs she had once fostered and raised. The bond they had forged remained unbreakable. In the presence of the younger tigers, the older cats gradually eased their tension, realizing that Lou posed no threat. Nonchalantly, the rest of the tigers strolled back to their respective positions, settling down together to weather the storm. However, an even more extraordinary moment unfolded. With the threat of an attack subdued, the young tigers turned their attention to showering their adoptive mother with love. Overjoyed to see her again, they huddled around Lou, ensuring her safety throughout the storm. In their unique way, the tigers remembered Lou as the one who had shown them love during their infancy, and they found a way to repay her. This story reminds us of the incredible power of love that transcends boundaries. Imagine witnessing a Labrador fostering and caring for tigers, or witnessing grown tigers cuddling with a dog. Such extraordinary displays of affection and connection between different species leave us in awe. What do you think of this incredible story? Let us know in the comments section below. See you next time. Bye for now.